Are you serious? Are you serious? Blood moon rising. Blood moon rising. The second of the 4 blood moon tetrad is scheduled to take place tomorrow morning if you're in America. Tomorrow morning in America. I'll give you the schedule of the exact times in which you'll be able to see this second blood moon. Now, what's the Bible say about signs in the heavens, or does it speak of blood moons? Of course. First of all, Jesus said these words in Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming with a cloud, with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, he said, then look up, lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh. Well, the Lord is coming soon. But now also, when it speaks about a blood moon, let's not forget what the prophet Joel said in Joel chapter 2, verse 28. He prophesied and said, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaidens in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. Well, blood moon rising. There's no question it's going to take place. And just to remind you of some of the things that we've learned as it relates to the blood moons, let me show you a chart I have here. And I've got some great charts here, and I'll talk about this more tomorrow on our live broadcast on the blood moons. But let me say this, that tomorrow morning we will show you more. Let me give you the exact picture right there of the blood moons. Here is the 4 blood moon cycle for this year. Of course, the first one was, there it is. The first one was Passover, Feast of Passover, April 15th, 2014. That was blood moon number 1. And of course, tomorrow morning, October 8th, 2014, will be blood moon number 2. Next spring, which is also the Feast of Tabernacles. Next spring will be Passover, and it will be a blood moon number 3 on April 4th, 2015. And then the 4th blood moon will be on the Feast of Tabernacles, and it will be a super blood moon, which has never happened before in these 4 blood moon tetrads. We've only had 8 of these 4 blood moon tetrads on high Jewish feast days since the crucifixion of Christ. And this will be the only one that gives us a super blood moon. And that, of course, will take place next year, September 28th, 2015. Now, this blood moon rising, the blood moon total lunar eclipse, when are we going to see it, Paul? When are we going to see it? Well, first of all, there's been 4 super moons this year and 2 blood moons. Now, we're going to see the blood moons in the morning, tomorrow morning. Actually, it starts, the partial eclipse begins at 4:15 a.m., 4:15 a.m. Central Time. So if you live out here on the East Coast, that will be 5:15 Eastern. If you have to get and look toward the west. As the moon is setting in the west, you'll begin to see it happen at 5:15 Eastern. It will be a partial eclipse. But the total eclipse will be at 5:25 Central or 6:25 Eastern. So let's go with Eastern. So start seeing the partial around 6:15. It will be a total eclipse of the moon, and the moon will become blood red, and it depends, the redness of it depends on how much particles and dust are actually in the atmosphere, all right? But it will begin at 6:25 Eastern tomorrow morning, and it will go for 59 minutes. At 6:51 a.m., it will be a moment of a full moon. But at 6:55 a.m. will be the greatest portion of the eclipse when the moon should be at its reddest. And this will all end by 7:24 a.m. So between 6:25 and 7:24, 59-minute event will be the second blood moon of the 4 blood moon tetrad. Now I plan on being, tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up, I'm going to be somewhere in a clear area looking directly toward the west, toward the moon. I pray it's a perfect clear morning. I'll have my iPad and I'll be trying to film that moon for you and talking about the significance of the blood moon, and then bring that footage back and post it tomorrow morning for you right here on YouTube. Also tomorrow, as we're reflecting on this second blood moon, the Hagmans, Doug and Joe Hagman, will be my guest on my live broadcast tomorrow. They'll be my guest for 2 hours of the 3 hours, maybe longer, and they'll be with us to discuss the current world events, how during this 4 blood moon cycle, what is happening to America. Has the harbinger warnings of the Messianic Rabbi Jonathan Cahn, are we seeing those warnings starting to be carried out in judgments? I'm going to be talking to the Hagmans about this specifically. And then that night, I'll be actually a guest on their broadcast on the Hagman Report, which begins every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be on for 3 hours with them on the day of the blood moon rising. So we'll continue to see what's going on in biblical prophecy. Unbelievable events have happened since the first blood moon. I did a video on it yesterday. It's featured right now at my channel. I recommend you watch it. There's 5 major events have happened since the first blood moon, and they are very quickly. The synopsis is there was a definitely, with the Vatican bringing in Muslims and Muslim imams, Jewish rabbis, Protestant televangelists and big ministries, as well as other ones, and Catholic cardinals were all brought in for some type of prayer meetings. And actually, what's more disturbing, I'm not against the body of Christ coming together, because actually we are to walk in unity, but you can't bring in the Muslims. You cannot bring in and pray and get this confused. You can't be reading from 2 different books, the Bible and the Quran. So it's the starting of the formation of the one world religion. Also, Russia's invasions of Ukraine and Crimea is part of the rebuilding of Magog. Israel's 7-week war, which always happens during these 4 blood moon tetras. Israel goes to war, or the Jews are severely persecuted, and so are Christians. Certainly, that's happening with the rise of ISIS. That's number 4, the rise of ISIS and the persecution of the church, and the reestablishment of the ancient Babylon empire, which is really the Muslim caliphate. And number 5, Ebola. Is it the first of the 7 last plagues of the end times? All of those 5 major events have happened since the first blood moon. So what will the second blood moon rising bring? Well, we're going to continue to look at the scriptures and continue to look for Jesus, because in an hour you think not, the Son of Man will come. It's going to be a powerful week, biblical prophecy, and 3 days autumn harvest at our home church, October 10, 11, and 12. If you're within 8-hour drive, you need to try to plan right now to getting to the cornfields of Indiana to get in these 3 services, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, October 10, 11, 12, at our home church, Community Gospel Baptist Church, located in Knox, Indiana. All right, God bless. There's a blood moon rising.